Well, hello there. Hello. 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 If you've been following me for the last weekend, you know for the last 5 days I was in New Orleans and that was awesome. I had a great time. But it's time to get back to business. It's time to stop joking around. It's time to get down to the nitty gritty and the things that are very important to me and what I know is important to you. And today is a very important one, especially for me because I've been running here lately. So I've been running with my hands all the way up. And it isn't healthy. One bit. It isn't healthy. 1 second. Amy, I see you. Give me 1 minute. Alright, guys. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, remember, Who's This is now on Mile High Radio. So, I have to do this thing in the beginning where I do this. It's called an introduction. Because I was listening to my past two shows and I realized I didn't have one. So, welcome, 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 welcome to Who's This. My name is Ashley. I am your captain, sailing you through the seas of life, making things a little bit easier while having a bunch of fun. So today I'm going to go ahead and introduce Amy. Amy is the coolest meditator in the entire world. I was going to say MFer, but I'm trying to be better with myself. So I'm going to go ahead and invite her on. We're going to add Amy to that broadcast. Obviously, yes, invite, if I already pressed invite Facebook. While I wait for Amy, I'm going to get this shared out, guys. Remember, one of the most important things you can do for me.
Hi.
It worked the first time. This is the first time it's ever worked the first time. So the show must be right. Like, usually by this time I'm crapping my pants and I'm like, oh god, I give up. I'm done. Throw it all away. And I just burn my phone. But it works. So welcome, welcome, Amy. It's been a long time coming. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you? You just had an adventurous weekend, didn't you?
I was quite the adventure. New Orleans is a place that I tend not to take a lot of pictures because there's some places, it's like Vegas, only you don't take it all. You just kind of live that lifestyle for a weekend. You come back home to being the good Christian woman that you are, you
Yeah.
know? So how are you? How is everything?
Sure.
Good Christian woman, I promise.
I'm doing pretty well. I actually have been embarking on a new adventure in my life, a new personal adventure that I believe will also affect my business in the last couple weeks. And that's just this whole mind body reset that I've been doing. My company is called Say Yes Coaching, and I teach people how to say yes to themselves. And what I noticed was, hi, Anthony. I noticed, what I noticed was that, I needed to do it more in my own life. Like I had gotten to a certain level where I'm doing the kind of business that I want to do. I rarely say yes to things that don't make me happy. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten really great at saying no and teaching people how to say no, which really is saying yes to themselves. So I needed to take it to the next level for myself because what I noticed I've been in business now for 2 years, but what I noticed was that I started letting some things go, and a lot of those things that I was letting go were like working out and being consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. Working out. Wow, I haven't
Yeah.
done that in years. Like
Yeah.
literally years.
Well, and it's stuff that I love. Like my whole like journey has been interesting, like I used to do CrossFit 6 days a week and do yoga and teach kickboxing and all that stuff. And when I really dove into this entrepreneurial thing full time, slowly but surely, those kinds of things became not my focus. And what I notice is in order for me to be happy and healthy and successful, I need to have all of those pieces in place.
Sure.
So admittedly, I I needed to start being more consistent in the kind of foods that I was eating, that I was moving my body, not just meditation, not
I'm
just
very
yoga,
consistent.
but
I'm very consistent with my food.
more.
Very
Yeah, you're
consistent.
consistent. Well, I was
I'm,
also very consistent with my food,
I'm
but it
consistently
was,
eating garbage. I'm
yes.
not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna show you because it's so embarrassing. But there's literally a giant bag of honey barbecue chips just chilling next to my bed. I wake up, I grab a handful, and I'm like, midnight snack, and I do that like 6 times a night.
Well, and the thing is, Ashley,
Horrible.
me too, me too. Like that is not so far off of the kinds of habits that I had started. Like it happened slowly. Like I started working out less and less. That happened slowly. Like I used to be known for the sweaty selfies I did on Facebook because I had a weight loss journey myself too. And so that was what I was known for, right? And then when I was like, oh my gosh, oh, there's Mark. Hey, Mark. And then when I realized, like, oh, I'm hardcore, like, I'm hardcore.
Hardcore.
All the best / worst stories in my life start. I was just trying to be hardcore, and then
Hardcore,
so yeah, I really like put all of my focus into that, and slowly but surely, like, I started letting go of things that were really, really important to me. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, you know what? A couple of weeks ago, I was like, you have to stop this. Like, if you are going to fully teach people to say yes to themselves, then you, talking to myself, have to really say yes to yourself on all of those levels. You know, you can't just be sometimes. Like, it can't be sometimes. Like, you have to embody your message, you know? And so I've started to do that, and I've learning a lot about myself in the process.
I can imagine, like, I can't imagine how you feel. I can't imagine how you feel. Because I said today, I told you guys, I would love to lose weight, but I want to eat bagels every day. It's just who I am. Like, it looks like you're drinking kombucha right now.
I am.
It tastes like garbage.
I have all my healthy drinks over here.
I got you with some good old-fashioned. See, this may look like I'm drinking water, but really, it's just Gatorade.
Oh, you know what? My drink of choice back in the day was Coke Zero. Yeah.
No.
You know, I did all the bad things. Like, I drank too much, I smoked, I was overweight, I was teaching, and I had, I just wasn't taking care of my mind, my body, anything. I defined success as helping other people all the time. Yeah. And I forgot that to actually start with myself. So it was like,
it tastes horrible. It's fermented. It's rotten. I don't want to put anything rotten in my body.
Well, then don't. But it starts small. I think, like, I don't know about you, but I've done this a bunch of times where I'm like super gung-ho about something, and I'm like, I'm never gonna eat sugar again, or I'm never gonna do bad thing again. I'm never gonna watch, that much television in a row again. Like, and then it's like, I feel good, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this healthy thing, woohoo. And like, I last like maybe a week and a half max. And then I'm like, this is dumb. Why did I ever do this?
I'm unhappy.
I'll skip a day, and I'll be like, fine, I'm just gonna skip a day. But what happens when I skip a day is the day after, I'm like, I failed. I fucked this all up, and I might as well just stop.
There's no point
now. And I stop.
That's me, like, completely in a nutshell. And I'll work out for, like, I mean, my poor family, they think I'm insane. Because I'll work out for like 4 months straight and go to the gym, and I'll eat horribly. I mean, the eating thing is something I'm gonna have to probably get like a therapist for, because I just like the taste of bad food. And I can admit that, but the exercise portion isn't the problem. How do you even begin that? Where do you even get the idea that meditation is what you want to go with? Like, where does that come from? The whole, I want to teach people to meditate. I want them to be better. Because I want to help people too, but I have no desire to talk slowly and tell people to breathe. Where does that come from?
Well, you know what it was? It was okay. So I had to reflect back upon like my own experiences and go, okay, so when I started to really make changes in my life, like life changes that stuck, what were a couple of the different things that helped me? And what I realized was that meditation was one of those things that, for me, the way I describe it is that it put a little bit of space in between my crazy ass brain and the choice I was going to make. So I get it. Like, junk food, woo. Like, I used to have like Domino's on speed dial, like, all those things. But what happened was I was in chronic back pain like 4 years ago, and I could barely get out of bed. It got to the point where I couldn't work, and I was stressed out all the time, and I was having panic attacks. Like, all of these bad things kept happening. And what I figured out, after or during, was that it was all caused by stress. all of these physical symptoms, the sick feeling that I felt all the time, the getting up in the middle, not being able to sleep, the laying down to go to sleep and being like, I'm going to think about all the horrible decisions I've made in my life between now and birth. Go. I'm going to think of all the horrible things that could go wrong at work tomorrow and go. And it was like, and so there was I never had any like downtime from my own brain, basically. And what I didn't realize was that my thoughts and how my thoughts were always on and always spinning and all that stuff, they were causing the pain. They were causing the anxiety. They were causing the depression. They were causing the migraines. They were causing, the back pain. They were causing the panic attacks. It was all connected. And, I can say this with confidence now because I'm on the other side of it. But when you're going through it, had somebody said to me, Amy, you're causing your pain, you're causing your anxiety, you're causing all these things with your thoughts, I would have said, go fuck yourself. I'm going to punch you in the face.
You don't know. No. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel all the time. And part of me actually knows that I am my biggest problem, but then I have to say it to myself. And when I say it, I'm like, but sweetie, you're perfect. I love you. You don't have to change. What really I do know, I think you hit the nail on the head, especially when it comes to back pain and even the stress. I mean, and when you said I had to take a break from my brain, I was like, oh my God, that's what I need to do. And it's not because I'm admittedly a little crazy, but it's because, like you said, you go through all the thoughts. It's like, okay, I'm going to think about everything that can go wrong tomorrow, I'm going to plan all the funerals for everyone in my family. I'm going to plan birthday parties that haven't happened yet. I don't even know if I'm going to make it 20 years from now, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up all these flight informations. What's up? Everybody's here. Hi, guys. How are you? Sorry, I'm ignoring your comments. Amy is just throwing my mind through a loop right now. That's what happens when people say genius things, and then I start reflecting on it, and I forget you guys comment, and I love you all. When I am not looking for the right chemical, I feel like there's other things I can do. I'll drink water. I have no problem drinking water.
Well,
but
it doesn't have to be like, so we don't want to like so our brain basically, in doing all these things and having all these negative thoughts and thinking about all the things that could go wrong, did go wrong, all that stuff, our brain is just trying to keep us safe. Our brain is on a never-ending quest of keeping us safe from danger. And back in caveman days, when we were picking berries and fighting bears or whatever, like our brain was, don't you remember, last week?
Yeah, I was in New Orleans. That's the same kind of thing I was sort of doing.
Right.
Okay.
So there was a point in time, in the world when our brain was literally keeping us safe from danger all the time. And now take that function and plant us where we are right now, and what ends up happening is our to-do list becomes a bear. Having to do that Facebook Live becomes danger. Picking up the phone, having a conversation, putting out an offer, writing a post, like these things that we do daily have now become the things that are danger, and our brain is trying to keep us safe.
Is that why I'm lazy? Is it like the ultimate defense mechanism?
Yes, it is.
You know what? Then I'm just a super protective person. I'm not lazy.
Yes, you are.
I'm overly protective of myself.
No,
and I don't.
It's true. It's true.
I wonder who that'll work on. I'm gonna try it on a couple people and see what they say.
But it's true. Procrastination.
Okay,
Procrastination is fear. No, I know. Isn't it crazy? It's like I am the most afraid person in the world.
Yeah, I'm terrified of everything. And that's actually not even. I'm not scared of everything. What I'm more afraid of, I think, and this is most people, I would think, they're more afraid of either it working too well and them ending up, super rich and alone, or depressed because you read all the stories about all the rich people who are super rich and they're miserable, or they fail completely and they end up in the street in a gutter. Either way, that polarizing success has blocked a lot of us from succeeding. And then there's also that whole concept that it's okay to be mediocre, and it absolutely, and I don't even like the word mediocre. I don't think it's nice to call anybody that, because I think where you are in life and how happy you are has no bearing on what you do, or you know, I've met plenty of homeless people who enjoy shitting under a bridge.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's gross. It is what it is. But I think you're just like I said. The reason I'm not even really reading comments, and I see them, and you guys are really getting into this, and I love it.
Like
But
and
Amy
share and love us. Like
yeah,
and
like,
share and everything.
I have to say that like 3 times. But Amy's just really hitting the nail on the head, and that's I'm totally afraid of super being rich. Dude, I know, because Chris, you have so much talent. There's no reason you shouldn't be super rich. How about that?
Well, listen to
What?
this. There's more.
Is there more?
Ah! There's more. So,
Really?
so I read this book called The Big Leap, and it talks about how it gives us like, so yeah, we're basically, all of us are walking around. Our behavior can either be, we're either approaching things with love or we're approaching things with fear. And fear can look like anger. It can look like upset. It can look like what we would call procrastination or laziness. It could look like extreme worry. Like, it has a lot of different faces that we call normal, you know? And this book, The Big Leap, was like a really big eye-opener for me, because the author Gay Hendricks talks about how when we grow up, we are, what's it called? We have like a happiness thermometer, right? So when we are young, our temperature on this thermometer, it gets set when we have absolutely no control over, you know, over anything. We do what we're told. We're not the boss yet of our own lives. So our thermometer is set, our happiness, our comfort temperature is set. And here's our happiness thermometer. And for a lot of us, that happiness thermometer, or that temperature, is pretty low. And so what happens is we grow up and we feel comfortable at this happiness temperature. You know, this happiness temperature could be awful. It could be, you know, really, really bad. It could be totally dysfunctional, but we don't know. That's where we feel most comfortable. So when we go out in the world and good things happen, maybe we get in a great relationship, or, you know, we achieve something that we're really proud of, or, you know, we buy something expensive because we finally saved up all our money and we could get it. Whatever it is, something like some kind of like happy thing happens, whatever our definition of happy is. And then all of a sudden, you know, we have this happy relationship or whatever, and we notice ourselves like causing a fight for no reason, or starting to worry about something for no reason, getting paranoid, like, what's up with that? Like, what was that look all about? You know, like, oh, you know, you get the degree, you graduated college or whatever, and you're like, well, none of the jobs here are good. Or you get the job and you're like, this job actually isn't what I was so excited. This job isn't what I actually thought it was going to be. And what happens is we're uncomfortable feeling happy. We want to get back down to our comfort temperature. Yes. And so we worry about something unnecessarily. You know, we are trying to protect ourselves from somebody that we think is going to hurt us, who the other day we were like, I love you so much, like, you're the person for me, or whatever. So there's this cycle of things that make total sense, mind you, that really is our response to being uncomfortable because we're happy and successful in a way that's away from our temperature.
Holy shit, you're right. That's all I can say about that. I mean, and I can't argue with it. Usually I enjoy arguing or throwing some sort of counter argument. There's no counter argument. And it makes me reflect back on, like, the concept of being in a really good relationship and then just totally fucking it all up. Hi, yeah. My name's Ashley, and I do that often.
You're not alone. It's okay.
It's not, you know.
Me too. Why do you think I'm talking about this? I've made all the mistakes. I've been like,
this is my future.
Oh my God.
This is my future. I'm going to turn into a white woman who drinks kombucha, apparently.
Oh, you're pointing at me?
Yes, this is my future.
Oh.
This is it. Because apparently when Amy was 24, everything that she did just kind of lines up exactly where I am right now. And
oh, dude. The stories I could tell you about when I was 24 and 25.
I'm trying to just make it past 24 at this point. I'm trying to get to 26. And when I get to 26, then I will probably have a whole new happiness thermometer because, good God, I need to throw this one out. Honestly, I think my happiness gauge of like I think my happiness gauge has just become to the point where it's just unobtainable. And it's because I've experienced things that were so awesome and then things that were so awful that now it's like if it's not that level of awesome, I'm hitting like honestly, and that's kind of cool when you talk about mind body reset. That's kind of something that I think I'm gonna throw into mine is just re-examining what happiness is, and making sure that what I want, because I think I want certain things, but then when I really spell them out, it's like, is that what you want, Ashley? Is that actually what's gonna make you happy? And like you said, the happiness gauge thing is just something that just threw me for a loop because it's like, holy shit, I do have unobtainable expectations for happiness. I mean, it's not even realistic. I want somebody who's perfect, which doesn't exist, but I swear they do. Like,
But see, but I don't think that that's a problem. Like, I don't think if your happiness, so the happiness temperature that I'm talking about is the one that you're actually in, the one that you're always trying to get to. So if you have high like expectations for happiness, don't lose those. Like, don't stop that. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is when you get something good and then you notice yourself self-sabotaging it, or all of a sudden like getting really worried about something, or, having these thoughts, like the sabotaging thoughts or something argumentative or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. It's like when you get the happiness and then you're like, and then weird things happen and you're like, when you think like the other shoe just dropped, of course it did. That other shoe drop is you self-sabotaging your happiness. When you say
things like, why did you just say hi to me like that? Or you say things like, why did that person cut me off? When this person has no idea who you are, but, and when you say things like, oh my God, when I get into work tomorrow, I swear to God, if my boss does something, I'm quitting. Even though you're in your dream job, you'll go into it, oh, yeah, I gotta do that too, man. I am just all fucked up, and this is great. And I'm not. Sorry.
Okay, you're a human being with a brain that's creative and smart and is putting yourself out there over and over and over again in different ways, right? You want to grow, you want to succeed in the way that that feels right and on purpose for you. Now, that's awesome. Don't stop doing that. But our brain, just know that our brain is programmed, it's programmed to be afraid of things that aren't actually causing us danger. And so if you know that, right? So it's the person that cuts you off in traffic and you're like, fucking, why are you trying to fucking kill me? Like, da 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 da. And there you just, and then you go home and whomever you had a road rage incident because all the assholes came out tonight and they all decided to cut me out,
Everyone.
And then you get home and you're like, in a horrible motherfucking da 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 da. Well, that kind of like upset that you just caused yourself because nobody's intentionally cutting you off. You then I don't mean you, I mean us, me too. You go home and then you interact with roommates, family, whatever, and you're in this shitty mood and you're spreading your upset all over the place. And I'm here to say, like, yes, stuff like that happens. And just like you said, the person that cut you off, like, didn't know, like, I even think if I accidentally cut somebody off, I'm like, oh no, somebody thinks I'm one of those assholes and I did it. I'm sorry. Oh no, now they think I'm waving because I'm an asshole. Like,
let me buy you lunch. Buddy. I'm so sorry. That's cool though, but it's cool to think about. You're talking about like intentional living, which is something that is a project on its own. Just living intentionally is something that takes a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and also
Disagree.
I feel like it does. I feel like living intentionally is something I have to think about constantly. It's hard for me to think constantly. I just want to take a nap.
Right? So that's good. Like, naps are good. It's not, see, and so I took a nap today. I mean, yes! You're an overachiever at naps. I can tell. Yes! The thing is, like, the reason I started out with meditation was because it was like the beginning of something that helped me change my life. It literally just allowed me to notice my thoughts without thinking I was my thoughts. Like, without thinking that, like, because I didn't know that I could sit and observe my thoughts and not like get tied into the chaos that's in there. The chaos that's telling me bad shit's gonna happen all the time, that I need to be ready, that you know, it's judgmental in there too. It's not, even if I'm ready, like, I didn't do a good job, like, they're gonna know I'm a fraud, like, they're gonna think I'm this, or they're gonna look at me and go, like, we all have it. And some of us don't know because we think we are it. So not everyone is at a point where you can observe your thoughts. And I'm here to say, like, whatever negative thing you think about yourself, it's not true. It's a story that you're telling yourself. And in some way, it's probably keeping you from moving forward.
I like this. Are you guys taking notes? That's why I meant to say timeout and remind everybody, get a freaking pen out. Obviously, I'm going to get this. I'm going to repurpose this for my high radio, and I'm going to put it on, like, Buzzsprout and everything. But here's the rub, folks. Here's the rub, and I'm going to just tell you this from me to you. Amy isn't just talking to me, even though, you know, parts of it sounds like she's literally just jumping from the screen to screen and smacking me in the face. She's talking to everybody, man. That's why she keeps correcting herself when she goes, I don't just mean when I say you, I'm not just talking to you. No, she is talking to you. There's a good chance that there's something holding you back. There's a good chance that you're afraid of something. And there's a good chance that it is fucking you over in life right now. And the name of the game is to just kind of, like, and I'm doing this too every day. And we all have our insecurities. We all have our fears and everything. But the number one goal is to understand what they are and recognize them. And that's what Amy's here to do. And that's what she does for I mean, she literally does this for a living. So I can only imagine the thoughts that go through her head. Like, I couldn't.
It's crazy pants in there.
Yeah, I can only deal with my own brain. If I had to listen to someone else's brain and them tell me all their problems, I would be like, okay, well, I gotta go. Like, I'm busy. Like, I don't want to.
Well, see, this is the thing. It's like, the sharing meditation and working with people, it's not about somebody telling me, like, necessarily, like, all their problems. There's a certain point where you get to, you know, I teach people how to hear what their brain is telling them and make a different choice. And the very first step in making a different choice is knowing what your stories are in the first place. So I call thought stories. So if I created the stories in the first place, which means that I can rewrite them. And some of those stories are so practiced. You know, the negative thoughts, I am so awesome at thinking negative, and I've been doing it for so long that
Cynical.
Sometimes it feels like it's part of who I am. Sometimes I don't even notice that the stories are happening. But that's where meditation, it creates a, you know, when people are learning how to write their posts or whatever, and they're like, oh, use an emoji and have a pattern interrupt and interrupt people's visual thing or whatever. So meditation, and even just taking a minute and being quiet and breathing, it's a pattern interrupt in your own brain. Because so sometimes, you know, it's not just negative thinking. It's the thinking that if I stop working 24/7, I'm going to lose money. It's the overachiever mentality too. It's not just like I'm being lazy, It's also a lot of the qualities that, you know, overachievers have, you know, things we've been patted on the head for. You know, working 24/7, you know, having a really long to-do list, really banging things out all the time, like never putting your phone down, always being available, like all of those things that we're being, you know, praised for are the things that will kill you. Like, I know there's so many, like,
thank you. Repeat that, please. Repeat it, because that is I'm gotta get that tattooed on my arm.
I don't even know what I just said, but basically, when I see somebody online going, oh, I'm working all the time, I'm hustling, I'm grinding, I'm like 24/7, this is what you got to do, like fucking like, this is success. The first thing that pops into my head based upon my own experiences and all this stuff is, you know, I hope you're not dead by the time that you reach your goal.
Yes, thank you. You're gonna not only will you might be dead. Not only that, you're probably gonna have a terrible smoking habit. You're probably not taking care of yourself, like, and I mean like physical hygiene wise. And that happens. Your teeth are probably gonna be garbage. And there's a good chance. It's true, man. And there's a good chance that you are not gonna have your family there to support you when you need them, and you lose everything and everyone. And granted, yes, you may have your dream car and your dream house and your dream boat, but who the hell is going to sit there? Who wants to live in a 20-bedroom mansion by themselves? No one, people. No one.
Well, and this is the thing that really came together for me, and when I really decided that meditation for entrepreneurs is really what I wanted to focus on, and teaching mindfulness skills too, where you would call intentional living, which is not hard. As you mentioned before, it's just new. So it feels hard. Anything that we start that's new, it feels hard at first. So that's why I like to teach in like little tiny chunks. Like you give you a little tiny thing to do, and then we celebrate the hell out of it every time you do it. I'm all about celebrating the small steps, because no, I don't care if you can celebrate with cake if that's what you want. I will, at this point in my journey, I'll be celebrating with vegetables, fruits, and nuts.
You can make all that into a cake. You could put it together and just make a cake that tastes like delicious, because vegetables are delicious, right?
They're delicious. They're delicious. It's a new, I'm adapting to this thing. But I really, it really came into focus for me was when I started being, you know, Kay says she'll bake the cake. Kay's the baker.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't Kay that was
vegan cake, please.
I just gave Sterling the finger because he said something about posture. And yeah, he said something about bad posture, and I was like, bro, I know, man. I know. But seriously, Kay, bake the cake. I mean, guys, and yes, vegan cake, that sounds fantastic. I will try anything once.
You can. I'll bring a bagel for you just in case.
Bagels. They need vegan bagels. I swear, if vegans had good food, I would eat it. But it's just vegetables, and I only eat peppers and cucumbers.
Tasha says now she wants the freaking cake. And Mark, what did Mark say?
Mark said, I gotta scroll up.
People who really go 24/7 do not have the time to post about it. Just saying. #posers.
That's the bald gorilla right there. That's why Mark is a grandpa of wisdom, man. He's a gramps because homeboy he's telling the truth. I mean, you know, I could be, while you guys are out partying, I'm grinding. Like, no, buddy, you're sitting on Facebook complaining because you don't have anyone to party with. That's what you're doing, and would you like to come out?
Well, and that's the thing. It's like when I started doing this whole entrepreneur thing, like as my full-time gig, that's when I started going to the gym less. That's when I started being more inconsistent with my meditation. That's when I started like hanging out with friends less. That's when all this stuff, I had literally for years in my own personal like transformation had gone from being really unhealthy and looked one way physically to another way, totally different way physically. And it was like, I will always work out every day. I'm always going to do this. And it was being an entrepreneur and really feeling like I need to be on this all the time, that slowly but surely, without me like really realizing what was happening, I started to let it go of these things that were really important to me. And what I realized is I can't be the only one. And I see people being proud of constantly working. And all I realized was that I was starting another pattern of, you know, overachieving, people pleasing, and, you know, giving it all away all the time. And I'm like, whoa, here's the same lesson that came to me when I was teaching, in a different form. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, they can't happen this way. Because what happens is we all do it for, you know, because we feel like this is our purpose, this is part of who we are, and we want to be successful. So like the number one reason people are entrepreneurs, in the research that I've done and the research that I've seen, is for freedom. Is for freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want to do it. And
the entrepreneurial paradox.
Totally. Totally. And what ends up happening is we start sacrificing our health. We start sacrificing our relationships. And these are the reasons why we're doing it in the first place. So like you said, get the car, get the house, get the boat. Yeah, and you're going to be divorced. Your children are going to hate you.
Thank you.
And your dog is going to hate you. You know, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I know that that's not the intention. Like, people don't do this to be miserable and lonely. They do this to be happy, healthy, and ridiculously rich. And it's a slow, insidious, for all good reasons. I see the light at the end of my tunnel. I just need to work like this. Like, and people think it's just for the first years or first couple years, but I think you get more into it and you look back and you're like, shit, I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yep.
And then you look at your relationships and you're like, shit, like I go to the barbecue next door and I'm looking on my phone. Like I'm more friends with like the people that I also know that are in my business that are also on social media than I am with my neighbor. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're making sacrifices. And it doesn't have to be that way, is what I'm saying.
It doesn't, and you're right. I mean, it even gets to the point where you find yourself sitting on Facebook talking to people who you've never met before, right, while you're at your family's house. You know what I mean? Like, and it sucks because you feel like you're working, and sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't. Sometimes you've just made good, friendships or whatever. But you find yourself completely isolated because, and this is, and I totally blame Zuckerberg for this one. You find yourself completely isolated because you feel that you have a bunch of people around you. When in reality, all you have are a lot of friends and acquaintances who are just as lonely as you are. You know what I mean? And that's why when I meet people, I try not to work, and it sounds like super lazy or whatever. But I want to have fun. Like, we're supposed to be friends. I don't want to work 24/7. I don't want to do that. If you come to Florida, or if I go there, whatever, we meet halfway in the middle. Let's go out. Let's go do something. And that does not mean we have to go do something extravagant. But like, let's talk. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, when I first was in New Orleans with Cooper, I let my phone die, and I was like super happy about it because I realized for the first time in since 10, maybe, my phone died, and I wasn't worried, and I wasn't scared that like I was gonna lose a customer or something. There was no fear. It was just like, okay, holy shit, I'm in a moment, like, and I have not officially been in a moment for a very, very long time. So it's nuts. It says if you haven't done it, you should try it. Be in the moment, man.
You know what? We forget. We do a lot of forgetting, and we do make a lot of decisions, based on fear. Oh no. When I was teaching first grade, I was learning mindfulness practices, and I was teaching my students, when we have one of those oh no moments, oh no, we're going to be late. Oh no, we don't have all of our supplies. Oh no, we don't have this. Oh no, we don't have that. I taught them, and it was really like a trick so that I wouldn't freak out. But what I trained them and myself to do is like, when we have that, oh no, like something's wrong moment, we take a deep breath. And then if we don't feel better in our bodies, if we still have that oh no feeling in our bodies, then we do it again. Because no one's going to die if we're late.
So you don't scream and cry and kick your feet, is what you're telling me. See, where was Miss Amy when I was in first grade freaking out because I peed on the floor? I never peed on the floor, by the way.
It happened.
I don't think it happened to me. It might have, though.
Pee happens, poop happens, vomit happens. Pants fall down.
You don't scream. You breathe.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You would have saved my parents so much money and like Advil and Tylenol and everything because I was the queen of the freak. You know what? I am the queen of the freak out, and now it's more of an internal freak out where I don't cry and kick my feet. I kind of just sit there and look at someone and I'm just like, you motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you.
You just learned, so that's what happened. That's what's great about kids is that they haven't learned yet to hold it in. They're
Mm.
actually
Yeah,
more. Thanks, Sasha.
it's my new
They're
favorite.
they're more in touch with like the feel your feelings, let it out thing
Yeah.
than we are. We're like, I can't feel that feeling. It's not socially appropriate. Keep it in. And then what happens is we keep it in, and then we don't feel so well in our body, you know. And then if we keep it in for a long enough time,
Ulcer.
our back starts
Peptic
hurting,
ulcers suck.
or like, you know, I believe that all the strategies that I teach really will help you, you know, calm your brain down, calm your body down, because every time you have a negative thought, you have a corresponding sensation in your body, you know. And now that I'm doing this
No, I'm listening, and
yeah,
I need to think about that, and what I'm going to probably do is, see, when I have shows with people and they say things that blow my mind, I get, like, a little journal, and I have, like, 17 journals laying around here, just every freaking where, and then, like, they say things, and I like them, and I write it down, and then I think back to them, and I record them, so now that's what I'm going to start recording, is if I have a negative thought, like, does my leg twitch? Does my stomach hurt? Like, you know, anything. I need to, like, document that, because I believe it, but I've never thought about it, so you just, like, blew my mind just insanely, and now I'm probably gonna focus on that for a nice, like, 5 minutes.
Well,
so continue.
The interesting thing is we have like thousands of thoughts a day, but those thoughts can be categorized into like a handful of topics. So I'm sure like the things that you tend to worry about tend to be like, if you were to write them down, they would tend to you'd probably be able to lump them together, like group them together in a couple of different topics. So that's one thing. Then we have about 5 primary physical symptoms in our body that speak to us. So for me, when I feel stress, I can feel it in my neck and my shoulders. I get pressure here and a headache. I get lower back pain, and sometimes I get knee pain. All of these symptoms correlate to a series of thoughts. And if we pay attention, we can find out, so what happened? Like my teacher used to say, you know, what did he say? He said something about how like his knee would start to hurt, but what he realized was that you can like trace it back to like smaller symptoms. So what he figured out was when he didn't get enough sleep, he would be grumpier, shorter with people, and somehow that would end up turning into knee pain. But if he got enough sleep, wasn't grumpy, his knee didn't hurt. Like, and I know that sounds like wacky, but you know, there is a sensation in my brow that probably like scrunchy face or something like that is like the precursor to the neck, to the shoulder, to the lower back, to the knee. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not looking at you puzzled. I'm just thinking
about, like, what are yours?
Yeah, like what? Okay, so when I'm stressed out, I don't know. I guess it's maybe because I'm in a constant state of stress that that maybe I don't notice, and it's just like when I get my first instinct whenever I'm upset or fearful of anything, I just fall asleep. I get really tired. Yeah. And so that may be it, and that's exactly what it is if I get really sad, I go to sleep. And it's because my parents trained me that way. Like, instead of crying, you go to sleep. And you wake up, and you realize that even though the situation hasn't changed, things still go forward, and they move. So, yeah, now I'm concentrating on that, and now I'm like, oh, my God, what am I killing inside of me? What is dying right now because I have not addressed it? Is my toe going to fall off? You know, and it's just... It's that kind of thing. You see, it's that kind of thinking that you know.
I hope you don't look at WebMD very often.
I love
then
WebMD.
You're dying all the time of horrible things.